Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri, and welcome to a Patreon-powered episode of We the GamerCast. It's the official podcast of WeTheNerdy.com. Thank you for listening and subscribing, hitting that thumbs up. If you could do it twice, I know you would, but once is enough over there on their youtube.com/WeTheNerdy. Thank you for rating us on iTunes and all the rest. Guys, it's going to be super quick. Got to get into my chat here with Tim Rauter. This thing is brought to you by you. Everybody over at patreon.com/makeusbetter is bringing our best guests back twice a month. We're doing it. Tim Rauter from Married to the Games is here. Thanks to everybody there at patreon.com/makeusbetter, especially our platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, our gold executive producer, Sheldon, Benedict, and all of our lovely gentlemen executive producers, Nick Milicia from Next Level Games, James Johnson, Jesse Armstrong, Glauco, Shaffer, David Ray, Mike Drummie, Brendan Myers, and Aaron Doherty, the handsome gentleman chef, or at least I think that's what you do. If you guys are new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with usually a stranger from the internet. If you want to be on the show in 2018, tweet at me. It's at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. We're going to get right into it. I'm so pumped. Here's a special shot of Christmas cheer shot in your arm in the form of podcast. It's Tim Rauter. You can reach him at MTTGcast, and please consider supporting them at patreon.com/MTTG, because that gets you into their incredible Discord for just $1. That is one of the most happening Discords in the world, on the internet. Why don't we just do it? Here he is, Tim Rauter. That's the Tim Rauter show we're all hoping to see.
No, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it G. That's keeping it G today, people. I'm just in my office right now, so I figured I'd do that. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
no, you're perfect. No, it's kind of just like bouncing. It's kind of like
every once in a while.
No, you're.
I want to ask. So I want to ask you something.
Oh,
how does it feel to be a father, dude? I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Like you told us back in the day. Like I love when we grow up with our listeners, and it's fun seeing that kind of grow up with you guys and so many other of our listeners too. So
yeah.
So tell me how everything went. Give me all the details.
Well, maybe I'll save a few of the grittier details, but
okay, that's fine. I can handle it. It's all good.
It's amazing. It seems like 2017 is the year of like Dad's a good friend of mine. Toby Thornton just had his baby, and Nathan Thomas from PSVG and That's Entertaining just had his baby. So a lot of guys. I think he was sending in a question on the Discord that he was talking about just becoming a dad, and it's like 2017 is a year of dads. So I'm surrounded by friends who are also having, and actually, just a quick side story, I work with a woman who she was expecting in January, and just like 2 weeks ago went into labor.
Oh wow!
Like super early, and so
super early.
I work with like a bunch of 30-somethings, so we're all like the same. We're all having babies and everything.
That's
it's like something
great.
in the
So
water.
you're all in this. Yeah, you're all in the same boat.
Yeah. So one woman came back from her mat leave, which in Canada is a year. Like when you have a baby, you leave work for a year.
Wow! Gosh, that's amazing.
amazing.
That is incredible. Do they have like paternity leave too? Like, can dads like take time off?
Actually, Chelsea and I were looking at that because she's self-employed. Like she wasn't really like didn't really have to take maternity leave. Like so, I could have taken a year.
Yeah, you probably. Wow, that's amazing.
Like that's. I mean, it's not.
Sweet Canada.
I mean, we're kind of the butt end of a lot of jokes, but we're actually our prime minister's looking at 18 months. That actually may have happened. It may be 18 months now of mat leave. And it's like, it's crazy because I work with a lot of people who work in the States, and they'll go off and have babies, and I'll be talking to them 6 weeks later. And it's like, that's crazy to me.
It's so funny because Lauren and I are both self-employed. So like mat leave was not even it wasn't really a thing. She had girls at her store that would cover for us and that kind of stuff. But I mean, we had Piper February 8th, and she was back like mid-March.
That's insane.
I will say the beauty of being self-employed, though, and even our pediatrician was saying this, like he was saying, you guys are doing it right because we brought her to work with us.
Yep.
So we had like a little pen, like she would fall asleep on my lap while I was working still. And then later on, I discovered if we the store is only 5 minutes from our house. So I would take her home, and then she'd have those amazing 3-hour naps. So I would just be home working the whole time in peace and quiet. Once she got up, I'd feed her and then bring her back to the store. So she was always with us.
Yeah.
And that was such a blessing because you got to spend all that time and you don't have daycare to worry about or anything like that. So the idea of mat leave is kind of like, it seems like a very foreign thing to us just because we're self-employed and we don't really know. We don't know what that is.
That's the funny thing is that's what Chelsea's discovering, for better or for worse, is that like she's working anyways. She was my best friend got married, I think 5 weeks after Lincoln was born. So she was a photographer for it. So she was up on her feet for the whole, whatever it was, 14-hour day.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I mean, she had a C-section and was at my work 6 days later. So I went back, I took a month off, but I went back every Thursday morning. And so Lincoln was born on Friday. I was back at work the following Thursday morning, and she met us there at noon. And so like she was up and about, and it didn't hit us until later when we realized like most people don't see a baby that new. Like close family sees babies like within a week old, but like we were in the hospital for 3 days, didn't pay a dime, by the way.
Beautiful.
And
lucky.
I don't know why I'm doing a jabbing it.
Oh, it's fine.
It's great. It's great,
man. I love it.
It is. It's pretty.
I love our northern brethren.
So yeah, she was just a rock star, man. She's kind of scared of needles and didn't want to do like any pain management or anything, and she just stuck to it. Like we walked around through her labor, and it was one of those like I think we actually episode 50, I think, is when we announced that she was pregnant, and then we had her back on. She was a guest, and we just like retold the whole story. I should actually remember what that was, but the whole thing is.
I'll go back and listen to it.
And no, man, it's awesome. Share it here too, just in case people don't have joined since then. But she's and I didn't get to brag about her to her, so this is a chance to kind of talk about just how like. She walked into the hospital and she was still like well on her way. Again, not going into too many details, but you know, her water broke in the bedroom. She took a shower. She thought something was happening. She took a shower and she walked over. She's like, I don't know what that is on the ground. I wonder if my water broke. And then just sploosh, just there it went.
Yep.
And good thing we took out the carpet. Yep, we took out the carpet a couple months before, so we're like, good move.
That was smart. That's hardwood. Always
tile.
Hardwood floors always a great option.
Yep. So we're like, we'll clean that up later. But it wasn't like a mad dash to the hospital. It was like she was totally calm, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go. I've been waiting for this moment. It is. It's
You're
dad
in dad
time.
mode.
Yep. So I grab the bag, and I'm sitting. I've got the car started because it's Canada because it's cold, and I'm waiting by the door. I'm like, so are we going? She's like, I'm just making the bed. And I'm like, what?
Atlanta, are you kidding me?
Seriously?
I'm making the bed. Wait, now you had him in April. When did you have?
Yeah, man, good memory. April 14th. Yep.
Wow.
So he'll be 8 months.
That's amazing, and you're just loving it, aren't you? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Like I've always said, like it changes your life. Yes, I find it like I think it just more enhances it. It just brings all these other elements of your life to a whole different level. Like you are responsible for something now, bigger than yourself, and you will love that thing till the day you die, no matter what they do. And she's at that age. Like Piper she's 5, right? 5-year-old girls. It's just a roller coaster of emotions already. It's just not even a teenager. And there's days that I want to throat punch her, and then there's days that I want to absolutely hug her. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, honey, I love you, but I am going to murder you in a second if you don't leave me alone. Man, but
just a little flick on the nose.
Yeah, it's just something.
Yeah.
So it's insane. I'm so I love it. And man, you better get to some hockey games too with your boy because he'll never forget that. I hope Piper will remember these. I think she will.
At 5, definitely, man.
Yeah, I think it's just so much fun. I have such a good time with her. It's just good little daddy-daughter bonding.
Is she kindergarten?
Yeah,
kindergarten at 5. Yeah,
she's in kindergarten. So we moved. It's so weird. Like a year ago, we were contemplating the idea of moving. We've been in our other house for 14 years. And it's just one of those things where now that like it was designed more for us just because Lorna and I didn't have kids until 13 years into our marriage.
Wow.
Like we wanted to take our time. We wanted to be with each other, travel, do that kind of stuff. We purposely did not plan on having kids.
How old were you when you got married then?
23.
Okay.
So this past October was our 19-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
So Thank you. So so for 13 of those, it was just us. So our house, the way it was laid out, just it didn't really work now that she's getting older and that kind of stuff. Same school district, which is nice, and so we were able to move into this other house and build a new house, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember where I was going with that. So I have
That's the point of this. That's the point of this show. Yeah, like, who cares?
Well, that's what I love about this is that we can, like, we just dove right into hockey and didn't even say hi to one another. We were like, hey man,
hockey.
How's it going?
Isn't that what men do? I think that's generally. I mean,
yes.
Really, the reason that I love this show is because it goes. We've gone beyond hockey, where like, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes maybe it's just because this is like a safe zone for me, and I don't know how you feel about like the podcast. Absolutely. And you're like, you can just like talk, and I kind of wish that like it would be like that. I guess in other, like, sometimes when I'm talking about sports with just like people in real life, I'm like, can't we just like talk about maybe something a little bit more important? Like, I feel like we're all just sort of like regurgitating maybe a little bit what we've heard on the
safe zone conversations,
Mm-hmm.
Like your true friends you can sit down and have like amazing
Mm-hmm.
conversations with and go beyond that. But if it's like acquaintances or just friends, like, yeah, of course you're going to go to that kind of stuff because that's the first way to engage people.
Mm-hmm.
There's like so many friends that I've learned just from watching them, like they're very engaging with people that they don't know, and sometimes it's hard, like to talk and interact with other people, and like I have to do that now more because we're in kindergarten. We have all these. There's 20 kids in Piper's class, right? So that's a lot of families. That's a lot of adults. And so you don't know everybody. And so you have to kind of reach out and be like, oh, yeah, my daughter plays with your daughter or your son and blah, blah, blah.
So how is that? Because that is something I've been thinking a lot about and just sort of like really worried about it because I kind of like, we like being secluded. I reach out and talk to strangers on the internet all the time.
I'm with you.
But at the same time, I look around the neighborhood and go like, you guys, I don't know if I like what you're doing with like, there's no reason for that behavior. So like,
I hate your son.
Basically. Right. I mean... But it's not his fault.
Exactly. We kind of lucked out because
really mean to say.
No, it's not. Trust me, it is not mean to say. This is life. This is how it goes. I'll give you my 2 cents on it. We lucked out because exactly. We lucked out because 2 of Piper's friends are in her actual class. Mm-hmm. One is from her soccer team, and the other was from her old preschool. So we had known them. So we got to know their parents really well, and we're actually a very tight group of people now, which is really great. And honestly, and that's fine. I don't need to become buddy with any of the other parents now because I found kind of like those niche people that we can talk to, and we've had them over for dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
So like we've gone out with them, and so those 2 other couples. That's it for us. Like Lorna and I are like, we don't need to really go beyond that. If something happens and we make a connection with another couple, great. But that's like, you gauge that. You don't have to go out to be Little Miss Social Butterfly. You know what I mean? Because like the parent-teacher organization, like everybody's so involved in school and everything like that. And like, just you do it on your own time and you just ease into it. And so it's worked out really nice. And Piper loves kindergarten and she's doing really well.
Oh,
and
really?
Man, it is crazy the curriculum that they're putting together. Like she's already had
curriculum.
I said curriculum. She's already had 3 oral presentations. Yes, oral presentations in kindergarten. If I can recall kindergarten, I just remember eating crowns and taking a nap, right? Is that about I think that's about how much kindergarten was back in the day. But like she comes home, she's got to read, like she has this reading packet and it has all these different books she's got to read, and it's like that's a lot of pressure on a 5-year-old. But I actually really respect it, and I really think it's a great idea. Yeah, throw them in front of their peers and let them do an oral presentation. Give them that confidence early, and hopefully she'll turn out all right.
I mean, the part of it is it sounds like it's almost like projecting from adults' perspective because like a lot of us grow a fear of public speaking, and I know like even just doing this has helped immensely of just you just improvise and being able to speak and hear your own voice, you could become a little bit more comfortable with it. So we project onto kids like, is this really stressful? But maybe there's I don't know, there's probably smarter people who have done the research on this. But if I think about kindergarten Sean, like this is the kid who, like, I mean, maybe a little younger, but like I literally, as a child, I have a memory of this, throwing my pants down to my ankles and telling my mom I gotta go to the bathroom. So like, there's no shame. Yes. That's the whole point of that stupid story.
You are considered, quote, all boy. That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what boys do. And honestly, thank God we had a daughter, because my wife just can't stand boys anyway. Really? She's like, I can't deal with all that junk and whatever and what have you. Like, no, forget it, because they're so rambunctious. But with girls, it's different. It's more of an emotional side of things that you kind of have to figure out. And
that's what Chelsea, like, I don't know, she did some sort of like mental mind trick to like control her ovaries, but she made a boy happen. She wanted a boy, and that's what happened. There's awesome. A great picture. We did like one of those, it sounds ridiculous and pretentious to say, but we did a gender reveal. Like we did one of those, like,
that's totally awesome.
So it was a good time, and it was video game themed. That's why I can even bring it up here, because Chelsea gave the note to the baker or whatever, and the inside was supposed to be red and blue for a boy, pink and yellow for a girl, but the red looked pink, so she took one slice in and came up with the red, but it looked kind of pink, and I'm like, I thought I thought it got spoiled on that first cut. Then she took the second cut and took the piece out, and I was like, oh, it is a boy. So there's
awesome.
And everybody there taking pictures, so you can see like the girl,
everyone's like, whoa,
and then boy. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
That's
so cool.
Yeah. What gosh, I could take this in 1,000 different directions.
Tim, take it wherever you want. I'll start with this. What are you playing right now? This is a video game podcast.
Okay,
so what are you playing?
I know that you're playing Assassin's Creed.
Dude, I am on the struggle bus with Assassin's Creed.
Oh no. Okay, so this is my first Assassin's Creed since the first one, and I've lived vicariously through you. I never played the first one. Yeah, no, I never played. So, okay, here's the problem. Uh-oh.
No, it's not that I don't love it. It's that it's my fault, because I started it, and I started it with only an hour to play, right? So you kind of get into the groove, thinking, okay, I'll play tomorrow and get into it. Well, I played that day for 1 hour, and I didn't get to go back and play it for like a week. It's just been kind of crazy and busy.
I did the exact same thing.
And I'm like, the combat's throwing me off. I can't remember to lock or to, do, like, they've completely revamped the combat, which is great, but it's going to take a little getting used to. So that's why I'm struggling a little bit with it. It is beautiful though.
Isn't it?
That game is gorgeous. I love all the little things that they've done with it. I'm still early. I'm still getting into it. And I'm coming from Shadow of War, which is just straight up button mashing and, with PlayStation, just hitting square, and then dodge it. Like, so I'm used to that, and I'm not used to the shoulder buttons for combat at all. So it's a huge transition. So I'm struggling a little bit with it.
I started over completely. So I played for about an hour and a half, got through like maybe the first kill or something, and then they're like, go off and do quests.
That.
Honestly, Tim, like that was the best thing I ever could have done, because I had that reaction I think a lot of people did, which was, I don't know about this. And I was going to put it aside, and then I did, but when I came back to it a couple weeks later, like, I am addicted, man. Like, I'm sitting podcasting with Bobby, and like, I kind of just, like, I've got the Xbox like right here.
Yeah, it's right there, like, staring at you.
Maybe I'll just
play me.
Yeah, pretty much. Bobby will talk for 15 minutes, and I can just maybe get a quest or two on there.
Yeah. And that's what Ed said. Ed was really excited. Like, Ed and I have the very similar game style, which is great. Like, we like the same kind of games. Like, none of the other guys played Mafia 3. I don't think. I loved Mafia 3. I thought it was amazing. It's rough, but it's amazing. And like, so Ed and I kind of gel. And when he said that he's still playing it, like, after all these months, I can't wait to get to that level. I'm just not there yet.
With Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but I will be. It's Assassin's Creed. I love Assassin's Creed. I love the fact that they took a year off. I love that. I fully encourage that, because I enjoyed Syndicate. I got I did not like Unity. I loved Syndicate. Syndicate was my first platinum of an Assassin's Creed. I've never chased the platinum before.
That's awesome.
And Syndicate was just perfect. It just all kind of came in at the right time, and I loved Syndicate. I loved both of the protagonists. I thought they were amazing. Unity was just overwhelming, and it was a hot mess. And I loved the setting. It was in France. It was perfect. Like, they could have done so much with it. And the problem is they did too much with it, and it really overwhelmed me because they were really trying to push online as well. And I'm not like, I remember I took a screen grab of the map, and it was just dots everywhere, and the completion in me just basically fell down and went into a seizure because there was so much to do. And so I was like, no, I can't. So I mainlined the whole thing, and that was it. I was done with it.
Most video games start up with like that seizure warning, and Assassin's Creed starts up with like, you might get a nosebleed if you look at it. You might go cross-eyed if you look at the map. But I love this one, man, because you're just sort of like wandering. I find myself not actually looking at the map. So they've taken that mini map out of the corner, which was neat.
I kind of miss it, but at the same time, like, I don't mind it so much. It did help. Like, it's kind of. It was
a choice, though. At least, like, Zelda gives you the choice.
Yeah. It's very Witcher-ish a little bit now. Like, it's kind of moved that way, which I love because I love that game. But I need to just take like a couple hours and really get back into it. I may do that and start over just because it was just too sparse.
How many hours do you think you have? Because they teach you like a couple things. Scrap it. Okay. Start over, because they teach you a couple things that to me didn't really like latch into my brain. I'm like, I couldn't quite remember, like you said, like how to lock on. And then once you learn it maybe a second time, then I don't know, it starts to become a little bit more second nature. And then even just realizing that you don't have to go to the next quest, that there's sort of like emergent gameplay in there where you can just wander, and then a little question mark comes up on your compass. And you're like, I think I'll just, what's that question mark over there? I'll see what that is.
I spent 30 minutes hunting to get some soft skins for crafting, and I did that in 3 too. So the beauty of it is you could do anything. It's a huge sandbox.
Do you think it's too big?
No.
Look at that map. No, it's because I haven't played the last few. It looks massive.
They're pacing you right now for me, because I'm sure I could walk off. But dude, I'm used to The Witcher and all these. Like, that was a huge game too, and I think in The Witcher, I spent all summer on that game. I think it was probably 2.5, 3 months. I spent a good month on Shadow of War. A lot of that was just chasing some of the trophies, and that dang trolling trophy that I talked about on the podcast.
I know. I was like, I feel for you, because that was exactly the same. That's how I left Mordor. I think I've got 2 trophies. I think I've got 2 trophies left that I just couldn't get to line up.
Do it. You know, I did the same thing. Yep, because I've got both. I've got both of the Shadowed Platinums. Mordor, there was 1 or 2, and it was just one of those where I had to stop and go away, and then I came back to it like a day or 2 later and nailed it. So,
I was planning on that, and I think I ended up forgetting basically the Nemesis system and everything.
Exactly. Now it's all over.
It's so far gone. But I feel like these games, I've definitely been playing more open world games as of late. Like, they've sort of been thrown, shoved down our throat a little bit. But I do feel like Assassin's Creed the Origins might be the gateway drug that I needed to go back to The Witcher. I played about 5 to 6 hours of The Witcher. I'm just not feeling it. I think it might have been a little too quick after I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and I think my brain could only have room for so much fantasy and dragons and stuff. So it just wasn't clicking. But yeah, maybe I should go back.
Please go back to
There's
The Witcher.
so much, Tim. I want to go back to. What are games for you? Enough about what are games for you that you've dropped or that you want to go back to, or you
still haven't played. I have Watch Dogs 2 still in its cellophane, and I liked the first Watch Dogs. I thought it was great. I have Watch Dogs 2. I still haven't finished the Battlefield 1 campaign, and that's different for me because I'm not. I knew they had a single player. I loved World War One. I was just going to do all the single player stuff and be out. And, I'm not a multiplayer person or anything. My backlog right now is South Park, which I cannot wait to play that.
I sort of can't believe that you play it.
Yeah, right? You would think, but it is. I love that kind of sick, twisted humor, and I've always enjoyed that kind of stuff. If it gets too raunchy, I'm like, oh, okay, come on. Now it's some of these movies that are coming out are just getting too over the top raunchy. It's if it's not delivered in a decent comedic way, you lose it. You lose the whole punchline, in my opinion. There's a time for that, and it's hilarious at times, but like, But the South Park, I mean, Matt and Trey, they'll take it to a level, but it's hilarious. So I pre-ordered and I played the Stick of Truth, and just it was cracking up and loved it. And I'm not a turn-by-turn system kind of a guy, and that's exactly what this was, and I know this one is too, and I'm actually excited to get into that. But that's gonna be kind of down the road. What else do I have?
And I love that you sort of like just fly by the seat of your pants. Like you don't really get too into like. I think that's like all of you guys really. Just like I get way too wrapped up in. I look at a pile of games and I'm like, okay, so if I spend like I go into like spreadsheet mode, and I'm like, okay, so like 50 hours, and if I get like 3 hours maybe when like it goes down, like I got to step away from that because. No, listen, if you're enjoying the game that much, just enjoy the game. Like I'm not in, and I am in no rush at all to complete anything. What about? I got Wolfenstein 2. I picked up Nier Automata. But don't tell people because I bought them just in case other people don't buy them for Christmas. So I'm leaving them in the package for now.
Okay, Merry Christmas. All right,
don't tell anybody.
Nope. Mum's the word. Yeah, I've got. Watch Dogs 2 was still there.
I had a great time. I think I platinumed that one.
Did you?
I think I did. That game came out of nowhere for me, and honestly, the only reason I even pre-ordered it was because it was in San Francisco, and I love San Francisco, and it just seemed like I don't think I'd ever. Like I hear this all the time. People talked about that too with Assassin's Creed Origins and with certain games where the location, that's what drew me in. I've never understood it until Watch Dogs 2, and actually I've since forgotten that's why I bought Watch Dogs 2 until we were just talking about it now. And I'm gone back to going like people are engaged by Egypt, and I'm like I don't understand it, but everybody has.
But it's awesome.
I love that. Incredible.
I love that time period and all the historical things that they're kind of putting into it, which is really, really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to just dive into this game. And to be honest, I will probably stay in that game probably until Far Cry 5. Which,
I forgot about 5, that.
I don't know. I'm kind of creeped out that they're going kind of this church-state religion kind of a thing. It's a little creepy, but it could be really, really cool. I love Far Cries. Did I platinum 4? Yeah, I did. I platinum.
See, I gotta go back to that too. I've got 3 still in the wrapper for sure. Like that's sort of like my case study of backlog.
3 has probably one of the best intros, and I've talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, it's the first. The intro to that game is freaking awesome. It's really cool.
I feel like that might be enhanced by X for some reason. Like it's one of those backwards compatibility games. Somebody's gonna oops me on that, maybe.
Probably, it could be. But yeah, it's just like I have a certain amount of time to play games, and my rule usually it's just a family rule, and I've had it is like if the family's up. Unless I get permission or they're all asleep, like I don't play when they're up. Like I'd rather play on my own time, and that's why I get up early or I'll stay up late and play till 4 o'clock in the morning. Which every once in a while
How much
is
coffee do you drink? You never talk about coffee.
I drink coffee. I get at least 2 cups a day in me. So. It depends. When I work, I can work anywhere. So because I'm a web developer, so I have a laptop. As long as my Wi-Fi is here, I'm good. So I can work from the home. If somebody's coming to fix something in the house or just whatever, I can work from my wife's store in downtown Franklin, or I usually go and work over at Ribo too, because they kind of have like an open office policy, so you can come in and just work there, and that's how I've gotten to know all those guys. I've known them for 5-6 years now. So usually, if I'm going to the store with Lauren, I go over to Merides, which is it's a bakery and a coffee place, and I get a large coffee for me and then a Diet Coke for her. And I've been doing that for about 14 years straight.
That is so
yes,
funny.
I do drink coffee.
That's what I get for Chelsea. I get coffee for me and a Diet Coke for her at McDonald's.
Exactly. Yeah, it's perfect. So, and I actually like Merides coffee. I think it's better than Starbucks, and you don't have that Starbucks smell to it. And they have all these, the roasters that they use is he's a Nashville local, and he's got all these really nice, good flavors. So I've been going there for years, and to the point where like the manager's there. He's like, here's your cups. I don't even pay for it anymore half the time. And like they've grown up with Piper too. So like when Piper comes in, they'll give her like a bag of cookies or whatever. Like it's kind of like my bakery cheers. So I just go in there all the time. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Tim, when you were on last time, you talked about your dad a little bit. You talked about growing up in where you were born in Munich, Germany, which I was surprised to hear.
Yep.
But then you also talked about your dad having a PhD in foreign language, and he didn't talk about it very much. You wanted to go back and see if you could get some sort of... Now, this was back in May 2016 that we last chatted, which is I can't believe it's been a year and a half.
That's insane.
That's
it seems like yesterday.
I know.
It seems like yesterday. But I've never, I mean, my dad is going, it's been kind of a rough year for my dad.
That's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah. So back in May, he was diagnosed with stage 4 double hit lymphoma in the left hip. So
Tim, I didn't realize it was stage 4, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
We didn't either. He was back in like January, so he was complaining like he's just had some like hip and leg pain, and it wasn't like a sciatic nerve or anything. My mom's a nurse too. She's been a nurse for 35 some odd years, so she kind of can gauge a lot of this stuff. And he was just complaining about some pain in his leg. Went to the chiropractor, and like that didn't work. And long story short, they ended up finding this huge mass in his hip.
Right.
So right after Memorial Day, they basically started the cancer treatment, and I didn't realize how intense it was, but he had to do a total of 6 treatments, 6 days in the hospital, 24-hour chemo. So he was basically hooked up on an IV for 6 days.
Holy cow.
So he's on a drip for 5 days, and then he's off for 2 weeks, and then goes back on 5 days, off for 2 weeks, and all that. So
how are the weeks after? So I know that like depending on the treatment and stuff, you could be like good for a couple days, and then it just hits you like a pile of bricks, and then So like how were the weeks off?
First treatment, he lost all of his hair. Yeah. And then they put him on prednisone, which is a huge steroid. And what ends up happening is I think at the 3rd treatment, he ended up getting compression fractures in his vertebra in 3, 4, and 5, I think. So now he's miserable because he's got a brace. He's in a lot of pain, and he's just getting weaker and weaker. So it was rough for a while, but thankfully after the 6th treatment, and the oncologist there, Vanderbilt here in Nashville is a great place for cancer research. It's a huge medical city. Vanderbilt's down there, and that's where my dad went. And the oncologist and the person that was taking care of him is this Nigerian doctor who studies this exact type of cancer.
Oh, man.
So he was, on top of all that, he was the perfect patient for my dad because he was doing research and like really studying him and everything. So he gave him extra special care, and overall just an amazing doctor. And he's also very overly cautious. So if we may not have to do this, we're probably still going to do this just to make sure that all the cells are out. Right. So long story short, he's in remission. The problem was after that 6th treatment, he just went hugely downhill. And he had a walker. He could barely walk. And he was just super weak. What happens now for the past month and a half is on Thursdays, I go over to my mom and dad's house because my mom goes to a Bible study at her church. So I'm with him from like 9 until 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'll just bring my computer and work. And I want to give my mom a sense of normalcy because she oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know how she handled it because she, as a nurse, you can kind of turn it off and get into nurse mode. This was completely new for her, so she kind of shut down as well because she didn't know what to do, and so she was very focused on just what does Dad need, and so we're all trying to rally around her, be like, look, it's okay. He's fine. This is just going to be a slow build. And so I've been going over there and being with him. And man, the first week, it was just, he's just really unstable. Fortunately, he got a really cool walker, which really helps him out. And now, tomorrow Thursday I go and see him. But last week, I go in there and he's not even using it, and he's walking around.
Holy cow.
His voice is back and everything. So, I mean, this has been, in September was rough, and now it's amazing how much the chemo just takes and sucks the life out of you. And it's such a slow build to get back to where you were before cancer.
That still sounds that sounds quick to me though. Like I know, I mean, as you're living it day to day, it's like, gosh, this like any day would be nice.
Yeah, it feels longer than it may be, but he's real. First off, thank you for asking. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing really well. It was a very weird, like the whole summer was just a very weird period. This was kind of our first real bout of any family members that really had cancer that were battling something.
It sucks, man.
Maybe I didn't know. Like everybody was asking me how you were doing. I felt kind of calm about it. Like I didn't really know what else to think, and because I've never experienced this before, and maybe I didn't know the severity of it and how quickly it could go downhill if it wasn't treated quicker.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
But I mean, I just never knew anything about it. So once you kind of got educated on it, it was pretty incredible.
It's one of those things that unfortunately I see it quite a lot, and unfortunately just visited a friend in the hospital who had broken his arm lifting a bed sheet. That's how fragile he was.
Yeah, it's exactly how brittle you can be.
Holy crap. So, but it's one of those things, like cancer is a word that everybody knows somebody who's either faced or they've had a family member. It's just everybody knows it, but you don't really know it. And
so you go through it.
Oh man. So my heart was breaking for you all summer, just hearing, the weekly updates and I got a sense from you or even from everybody else on the show. It's like, it's very serious. Like it's very, I don't know, but you want to be positive. You want that's the best way. It's mind over matter.
What are you going to do? Like, I mean, what else can you do? You have to just kind of think positively.
But that's just you, Tim.
Well,
that's not
true.
special case for this. That's just you.
Lauren
in
always says I have theme music in my head all the time, and I do, because to be honest, like, why not? Really? Like, why not? There's so much other crap going on. Like, why bother? I always try and put a positive spin, and maybe also because I'm a coder, so it's like if there's a problem, I want to try and fix it. I don't focus on the problem; I focus on the solution. So that's why I'm always like, we'll figure it out. Blah blah blah. So it's just, I don't know. It was definitely weird, and you're right. Like people throw around, we've had friends that had cancer, but you don't really know until you go. If you
see somebody go through it, it's totally different. So it's good that you guys have rallied, and that's family first, right?
Yeah, it definitely was family first. The interesting part about that is I never visited him in the hospital.
Yeah, it's hard.
We had Piper. Well, we had Piper at the. Piper was during the summer she was running around, but because he was so immune deficient, like they had him in like a vacuum sealed area. So basically, we didn't bring her or any of us in just because we didn't want to risk the infection. That's how susceptible to anything he could have been.
Yeah.
So we didn't visit him in the hospital. Which was fine. So we just FaceTimed all the time. So, I mean, and we threw Piper right into it. She knew
all
what
of that technology that you just stated is absolutely incredible. Like everything about that entire story is tech.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we did. And Piper loved FaceTiming with Grandpa. And there he is. And you can see like all the chemo bags behind him, or he'll be up and about and whatever. And it was perfect. That was probably the best way to do this. And, I didn't feel any guilt for not going there. I just knew that he had to be kind of isolated from everybody. And so, yeah, it's really good. Things are rolling along. We're actually having our family Christmas this Sunday.
Nice.
They usually go up to see my aunt up in Delaware, but he's still pretty weak. Yeah. And she's got a lot of stairs in her house, so they're just going to stay home, which is great because this is like the first Christmas that my parents have actually stayed here, so we're all going to get together, and it's all going to be fine. It'll work out great.
How's his appetite? What's he doing to get stronger these days?
Yeah, he's definitely eating. He's eating more. He gets PT too, so so that helps a lot.
I didn't think anybody could get PT anymore. I thought it was taken off the PlayStation Store.
Nah.
It's a bad joke. It's bad.
Ask Gabe about that.
Okay. He'll maybe I won't.
No. So I think that's been helping him because I think he was really frustrated at first because like he couldn't get up like 2 or 3 steps without nearly passing out.
That would be frustrating at any age. And then if you just, I mean, he's done some incredible things, and like I mentioned at the start, you knew things about his sort of like a previous life, but he didn't really go into it too much. Did you ever kind of pick at his brain a little bit since then?
I haven't. What he essentially did was he worked for the Department of Defense. So a lot of the quote classified stuff. The only thing that I remember in what my mom
quote classified,
right.
top secret, killing after I tell you, whatever.
Secret, are there aliens? That kind of stuff. Air quotes. Whatever. No. It's one of those things where So when we were in Berlin, we were stationed. I was born in Munich. We came back to the States, and then from 80 to 82, I was in West Berlin at the time. So this is Berlin Wall. This is, communism versus capitalism, the whole nine. I just remember my father, there was always a hijack, like some East German would hijack a plane or something like that. And he was always kind of in the middle of that. Any spy information, he was always kind of involved in that. So, I never really picked his brain about that too much, just because it's probably old information at this point anyway. So I mean, because he was proficient in German, he would basically, any East German that would defect or cross the wall or somehow get over to West Berlin, they would basically grab them and just kind of talk to them and kind of interrogate them. He would kind of get them acclimated to capitalism and Western civilization, and at the same time he'd want to get information on what the East Germans were doing. And so that's how he worked for the Department of Defense. So he had a pretty cool job. So it was a lot of fun. And
so you guys probably connect really strongly, with your career. So you pop open a laptop and go to a coffee shop, and he's stopping hijacks and bringing people.
I'm building websites, and he's stopping hijacks and espionage.
Isn't that the classic like father-son dynamic of like what have you done with your life? Like I wonder like what Lincoln will do when he grows up. Like
I know.
Hopefully it's cushy. I guess that's what we should all want for our kids, is that they have a cushier life. But
you want to provide as much as possible for them so that they can kind of slide into it, but you also want to teach them responsibility and all that fun stuff. So it's cool. It's fun. Like when I go over, he loves all kinds of war movies, specifically World War II and that kind of stuff. During his treatment, I think on when Dunkirk first came out, I actually took him to the movie. He wore a mask and gloves and everything. But we went to like the early like 11 o'clock show, and because I know he really wanted to see that. And then we were talking about the Army-Navy game, which happened this past weekend down here in Philly. That's always a huge thing, Army rival versus Navy football game.
Oh, and nice.
It's such a cool. If you ever get a chance to go to an Army-Navy game, they usually do it. They'll change locations. One's in Philly, and the cadets for Army are trained up in West Point, which is up in upstate New York, and then you've got the Navy guys, which are down in Annapolis. The Army-Navy game is 119 years in as a rivalry. There's all these traditions that are involved the week of the Army-Navy game. It's the most incredible thing. My dad was able to take us as kids, and just even when I was, I think, in high school, to an Army-Navy game, and like the Army cadets come out and they walk out in formation on the field, and then they go to their bleachers, and then the Navy cadets come out, they do the same thing. There's like,
I've never even heard of this before.
It is the coolest thing. It's probably one of the greatest football games and one of the greatest football rivalries in America, and it's just there's so much honor, and you feel so proud when you watch these.
Yeah, of course. Games. Oh my God, it's just bleeding American patriotism.
Exactly. It's super cool. And so we were talking about that because Army's won. Army usually gets crushed. We usually have a horrible team, and the past 2 years we won it 2 years in a row now. And so it's a lot of fun. So he and I like talk about that stuff, but most of the time when I'm babysitting him, I guess you could say, I'm working. He's he likes to blog. Like he's during his whole cancer treatment, he was doing just some blog posts when he could or when he felt up to it. And I think that's good for him to kind of keep something going for him. And I mean, he reads, and so he's been really good. So it's a long road. But his recovery is, I'm really impressed. He's doing really well, and every week he gets better and better.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, man.
Yeah,
well, I hope that's just a singular episode that just you can just keep in 2017 and you move on into 2018 and that's
I mean, And he's been pretty much cleared. Like, he doesn't have to go back and see the oncologist for like 6 months. So now it's just a routine
That's
thing.
what I was gonna. Yeah. What's
The idea now is that it should be in remission. He's pretty confident he got all of it out, and then
That's
then we just
incredible.
we just kind of go from there and figure it all out. But it's pretty cool.
Well,
What are you guys doing for Christmas?
So
Are you?
it's so funny because our Christmas plans with my family in particular always change, like probably 17 times from when we start making them in November to when they actually happen. So
Awesome.
as of right now, I think we got everything kind of like laid out. But who knows, man? And it's
You got a baby now, though, man. You got that
and that's
excuse.
the priority, right? Like, so Christmas Day will actually be here, but usually on Christmas Day, before Lincoln, Chelsea and I would actually go to our like each of our family's house. We would split on Christmas Day. She would go to her mom's, and totally. So just we would take the whole morning and then afternoon, and then about dinner time, I'd go to her mom's house, or she'd come to my family's house. And
because everybody's in your area, right?
No, well, ish. Yeah, it's about a half an hour that kind of separates my, like, where I live and where my family is, like where my parents are. So it's not too bad, but that's sort of the thing that, we realized we didn't really want to split up the day. So we just kind of like, okay, you do your thing there, and we'll come. Like, and if we had Christmas Eve that we'd spend together, we would call that our Christmas. And that's great. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas Day for Canada, so it's all craziness as well. So yeah, it's just a matter of like kind of figuring out what day we are where and where we're eating dinner where, and other than that, it's gonna be nice.
Well, have them come to you now, man. You've got Lincoln. Just have them all come to you. I mean,
we weren't first though. We were second. So my
Yeah.
sister kind of has dibs on that.
You got the silver. You got the silver medal on that
twice.
one.
I
Dang
have a
it.
second kid too. So we've got baby sister who had babies first. So that's like gold medal for her. And then I'm second kid.
Sure.
There's not even. We were like, I think Lincoln probably looks like me when I was a baby, and we're like, yeah, Mom, where are my baby pictures? She's like, I'm sure I have some around here. And she's
Lauren does that with her parents too, because she's got an older brother, and they're like, oh, what's Sonny doing today? Because he's the golden child. Yeah, they're so funny. I have an older brother. He's 4 years older than me, but we don't have that kind of rivalry. We're both too chill. We just kind of do our thing and
I'm
go.
Not surprised.
I can't believe it's Christmas already. I can't believe how fast this year has flown. It's unbelievable.
It hits September, and then it's just like downhill on a slippery slope to just like let's just crash into the new year.
I love from September on though. Like I love like Halloween in the fall.
Fall is awesome.
Then we have Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and then New Year's, and then I even like that January period. Like I want a snowstorm here in Nashville so bad because a dusting would shut down the city for like a day or two, and it'd be awesome to have a snow day.
I often think about what we drive through just to like, I guess, it's minus 30 and there's 2 feet of snow out. I guess it's going to be a rough drive to work. But
exactly.
Like, people are risking their lives out here. This is insane. What about
I love it, man.
What about you? I wanted to ask you about Christmas traditions, and because like there's a reason I wanted. So you are one of 2 returning guests coming back for December. It's Married to the Games themed. I wanted to make sure that I got you and Gabe back. Hopefully I've scheduled Gabe by then. But
you better, man. Well, he's not on the road or anything. Well, I think he will. They usually do an event between that Christmas and New Year's, I think, but he's here.
Well, the problem is I reached out by the reason is the problem is I'm relying on Discord because I didn't want to direct message the MTGG account because I didn't want to upset Ed or
no, don't worry about it. They're not.
I'll have them back. Well, Ed, I owe a second show anyways because I lost his episode. My computer it literally like it showed we had such a great chat about his dad too.
Of course,
and it's one of those. I think he might hate me because of it. No, and I haven't asked him back on.
Ed doesn't have a hateful bone in his body.
Well,
don't even worry.
People find it for me somehow. I think I don't know. They're like, "What's this?"
John's got a bullseye on the back of his head.
Exactly. So, but I wanted to have specifically the Married to the Games crew back on for December because I don't know that I've heard anybody love Christmas quite as much as me, and you guys take it to the next level. Like your knowledge of Christmas songs blows me away.
Classic.
Like you guys have like I couldn't name anything. Like I will recognize it, but I can't off the top of my head. Like I think that's just your guys' minds in general. Like you're asked 1,000 questions every single week from your amazing community, which, by the way, is very intimidating for you to come on a show and like, okay, so what are you going to ask the guy who's been asked everything on his show?
I couldn't wait to get on this because I know how this works, and it's like we look at what we've done. It's already an hour, and I want to keep going like another hour just because we like the path that we can take is anywhere, and it doesn't matter.
We could talk about the fact that Cartman has a Santa hat in the background.
Exactly. Here. It'd be amazing.
Speaking of the stick of truth.
Exactly. I don't know. I love Christmas. Like I've always grown up with Christmas. What's funny? Because my wife owns a stationery and gift store, the holidays is like her Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And so she's like, she didn't come home until like 8:00 tonight, and she prints a lot of Christmas cards for her customers and all that other stuff. She has this mega printer in the back of the store, and so they cut a sheet, like a 20 by 30 sheet she designs it, lays it all out, and then they cut all the cards and all that stuff. So that's what you're doing from Thanksgiving on, basically. And work starts to slow down for me, so then I'll come in and pinch hit and help cut and run errands and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of hustle and bustle, and so that leaves me like doing a lot of the other things to help her out. So I was with Piper today, and there's always something. So like this from here on out, like we're pretty much booked up. And
are you good at decorating? Because I'm more of like the grunt.
Together.
Like I just grab all the we got tubs in the shed, and I'm the one who brings it all out.
You bring it down, and then she does everything else.
She's the one we got a Pikmin over there. I'm not sure if you can see. A Pikmin is in a little
that's amazing.
Sack. We've got little bows on top of what the heck is that from Fallout? Yeah, I think that thing is from Fallout. I can't there's a whole everything is decorated. We've got with every dog in this house, which we have 3. They each have their own tree.
That's
there's
amazing.
A Skylanders tree off to the side here.
Love it.
Christmas is rocking and
rolling.
No,
I love it. Yeah, it's just one of those. I love the hustle and bustle of it, but it is exhausting because once you start into December, there's always something going on. So like the first weekend in December in Franklin, they did the Christmas tree lighting Friday evening, and then on Saturday during the day is a parade. So you have to coordinate all that. This past weekend, they do a festival on Saturday and Sunday, which is called Dickens of a Christmas. And it's set in like the Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens kind of vibe, and a lot of people dress up. And it's good for Lauren. She gets a lot of foot traffic. We set up a tent, all that stuff. So she hasn't had a day off. Like we don't have weekends from here on out anymore where we can just sit and do nothing. And so, but I love the hustle and bustle of that. And I think she does too, just because it keeps you going. So like my weekend, you have to, because my weekend is shot. So this Saturday we have Lauren's brother and sister-in-law. They're going down to Florida to visit her sister-in-law's parents. So they're not going to be here for Christmas. So they wanted to do our family Christmas on Saturday, and then Sunday during the day is my family's Christmas, and then that night is our friends Pauline and Pierre. That's her birthday.
I love it.
So we've got a birthday party. So Sunday shot. So and then the following weekend? Well, the following weekend is just around Christmas. So it's like there's always something going on.
The whole month is Christmas.
The whole month is Christmas, so why not just celebrate it? So our tradition is typically after we celebrate Thanksgiving, on that Friday or Saturday is usually when we get our tree and we decorate the tree. And then we're in a new house this year, so in the old house I would get like I'd go to Costco and get tons of their garland, and then I'd put lights up on the garland and then string up the garland around the house, along the outline of the house.
That's awesome.
I didn't have to do as much in this house, which is nice because it goes up more than our old house was a ranch and this is a 2-story. So yeah, we would do that, and then we decorate the tree. And I'm kind of like you. I would bring down a lot of the stuff, unwrap it all, but I'll let Lauren and Piper do all the decorating.
How has it been with Piper now, sort of like coming into Christmas a little bit here? Like Lincoln doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Oh, no, and he won't. He won't for a while. But we're doing Elf on the Shelf right now.
Love it, yeah.
So Piper's elf is named Elfsa.
That's so perfect.
And yeah, it was classic. And so it is so much fun.
Yeah.
Like she gets the biggest kick out of it, and I love it. Like I'll believe in, and I'm talking lightly, as if she's going to come out and discover me talking about this, which is hilarious. But she's down the hall, so it's not.
Oh my God! If this is the way she found out, I would never forgive myself.
Right, I would never forgive myself. Like, Daddy? No.
What do you mean?
No, I love it. So like every night we put Elsa in like a different thing. Like she was in like a bowl of Cheerios, like taking a Cheerios bath or something like that, or like we'll come up with stuff. And sometimes like, and the good thing is I get up early, so like if I see her in the same spot, I'm like, oh crap, I got to move her and think of something to do. Mm-hmm. But I love it. I love giving her that fantasy about it and everything. And she loves it. She's like, the first thing she does when she wakes up is, what did Elsa do? So we go out and we look around. And it's the best. And you'll when you get there, it's just so much fun.
I can't wait. I'm going to be doing it before I should be. Like basically next year, it's on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, as soon as they can comprehend who that is and who that is, go for it. I say God's. So yeah, we even got like some additional props and stuff, which I haven't even opened up yet. We're just trying to be a little creative with our elves, but she loves it. And it's just so much fun.
That's the best. We have a elf on the shelf at work, and there's a whole crew of us are just like me, like we're just idiots, and so we kind of go overboard a little bit.
Yeah, why not?
So sure. I set up one person's office like the volleyball scene from Top Gun. So I took some like fishing line basically, and I had them like suspended in the air, like ready for a spike. And then I printed out like a volleyball net on just like 8.5 by 11, just like this giant net across. Yep. And I put up like pictures of like topless Tom Cruise and everybody else. And then just before she came into the office, I had that Top Gun song, like whatever the song was. Yes, playing on a Bluetooth speaker just as she was coming to the office. It was amazing. So like now somebody's she's just coming in just once a week, so we're taking that extra time to take out everything in her office and replace it with cardboard boxes. So she's got a cardboard box chair, a computer monitor, everything else.
Perfect. It's now like, you got to gift wrap it all.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Next week is gift wrap it all and wrap her entire desk in wrapping paper. It would be amazing.
I freaking love Christmas. Tim, when 2018 comes around, what have you got? You mentioned Far Cry. What's getting you excited about next year in the video game world?
Right now, I think it is just Far Cry 5. As always, I'm always curious about The Last of Us. I did not watch.
Actually, that's what I should ask you. I scrapped that question. I redact. Yeah. Here's a new question. What's your bold prediction for 2018? Because
Last of Us 2.
You got The Last of Us.
And what's funny is now that the cat's out of the bag with it, and we've seen kind of two things with it, I'm not touching it. I didn't watch the panel on for PSX.
Me neither, actually.
I did see the performance with Troy Baker and what's her name, Amanda, or some
the one that putting me on the spot.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. But they did a duet together, and Troy Baker sang as Joel, and it was unfreaking
when
believable.
His voice hit. I saw somebody carved out the song just as a video on its own, and I didn't expect him to sing, and it's just like this deep. I don't know.
It's as if southern voice. It's amazing. So I'm looking forward to that whenever that happens. But I kind of don't look too far. Like there's games that I know I want to play. I still have to pre-order Far Cry 5, and I'll do that with all the gift cards that I'll get from Christmas, which is great. I love it. It's so funny. Like the past 3 years, I have never purchased a console for myself or any games. It's all been done on gift cards.
You got the system down, man.
I got the system down. I should write a book or something on it.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think in the immediate future it'll be Far Cry 5. But yeah, I think I'm kind of interested in God of War. I think that's going to be interesting. I've never played any of the other ones. I take that back. I played the demo for 2 or 3, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. But I mean, this is totally
pretty
different
mindless.
than all. Yeah. So, because I think there's more of a story there. Mm-hmm. And that, that's for now. That's all I can think of.
It's because those are the only things that like we even sort of have dates for. I think Far Cry just got moved, and then I think like God of War was like getting teased, or there was some sort of leak that just came out. I think like they're looking at maybe March, is what I saw recently.
There's no way they're going to push that back. There's no way they're going. Far Cry 5 is pretty much done, and they're pushing it back to what, February? Are they in February? They're in late February now, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say, you touched on the maybe controversial theme or whatever they're exploring there. You know what? They shouldn't be moving it. They should be dropping it as soon as possible while everybody's still pissed at Destiny and all the loot box stuff in Battlefront.
Oh my God!
But we're going to be nice and rested, looking for something else to be pissed about.
They're the whipping boy right now of everything, which, it's you're either going to pay to play or you're not. And if you're not going to, like, I didn't participate in any of the Shadow of War. You can pay to get upgraded gear, and I did none of that, and I was perfectly fine.
I'm exactly the same.
And it doesn't matter to me. If you want to, fine. If you don't want to, fine. I don't care. Even if there's a different user experience, I'm one of those where I want to say that I just did it by doing it the grunt way, like leveling up, doing the missions to get extra XP, crafting, upgrading your gear, all that stuff. I don't need to buy
actually playing the game.
I actually get more enjoyment in actually playing the game the way it was supposed to be, with no payout for anything. I mean, the only thing that I've gotten before is when you pre-order, sometimes you get an extra gun or something like that. What's funny, for when Dead Space 3 came out, I pre-ordered that and I got the gun, I got some random gun, and that was the gun I ended up using the entire campaign.
Oh, it was actually good. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was actually decent, and then I upgraded it and it made it even better. And man, I miss those games. I miss the Dead Space series.
Dead Space, definitely. Dead Space 2 is actually like a 9+. Like that game is really good. You're right. It was survival horror.
Hard. Yeah, I had to lower the difficulty on the boss for 2.
Yeah, man.
That was the only one. I've said it many times on the podcast too. That was my most difficult, challenging boss. Was the end of Dead Space. I don't know why. I think it's when all those little kids came out and like you couldn't get them all in one shot. Like if you didn't like smash down and stun them or nail them in one shot, they just came and like got you before you can even get to the boss.
What a great memory you have. I would not have been when you describe it. I'm recalling it, but I would not have picked that out of my brain. I don't know. I'm always impressed by that.
It just stuck in me. I mean, I remember throwing the controller on the couch like I can't get past this. I was getting so frustrated.
The DualShock 3 is pretty robust, kind of. Yes, it's a pretty durable kind of controller. I feel like they're a little more fragile now, although I haven't put it to the test quite. Yeah. Probably Donkey Kong Country is the last time I really put a controller through its paces, I think.
I can see that. And what's funny is like what's coming out for Xbox too? I have not fired up that Xbox since Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I know, it makes me so sad, Tim.
I know it makes me sad too, but and I'm looking at your S right now. I'm like, man, that's way good looking. That's a nice little piece of hardware.
It actually makes you want to turn it on. Like the fact that it's the same thing as the black one.
I'm kind of pushing the button for you right now, or
what if we just kind of like started up a. Well, and the X is in the other, where on my main TV actually. So I kind of have this if I wanted to like stream or anything. I've got this, and I've only got a 1080p monitor here anyways. Nice. So I figured then I might as well have the S here. I got the X over there. And
how is the X? Are you loving it,
dude? I'm kind of loving it. Like I was talking to a friend, and he was sort of like, it was funny. I was actually talking to 2 friends at a Christmas party last week, and they're like, "Yeah, I saw that X, and like, is it worthwhile? Like, is it not?" I'm like. I mean, I know that they both have 4K TVs, and like, you guys have to get it. And these are the kind of guys who love like having the latest thing, and like for them it was a no-brainer. And for me, it's like load times for me are huge, which everybody, like, we all know that better load times are better, but I really, really hate long load times.
You hate them?
So when a game, like I actually did some side-by-side comparisons, like Forza 7, which I feel like I'm the only one in like our side of the planet who plays Forza or likes racing games. Mm-hmm. It halves the loading times. Like you're looking at a minute to 30, like a minute on the S versus 30 seconds, which still sounds like when you're experiencing
a lot, but
30 seconds is still like a long time. But just load times alone.
Skyrim days.
Right? Actually, Fallout was a good example. I just kept going to my phone every time, like I would move, like fast travel or something. I'd go look at my phone, get lost in whatever's going on there, and I go, "Oh, how long has the game been ready for me?" And I end up missing even more time just because I didn't want to look at a load screen because I'm totally ADD when it comes to that.
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah, load screens don't bother me either. Like just load, get your stuff done, and I'll look at my phone and check something here or there, and then okay, we're back up and running. That's great.
But to bring it all full circle, Assassin's Creed is kind of one of the games that proves that this is worth it for me. Like it looks gorgeous, and I don't ever have to have the worry. As somebody who's been playing on Xbox this entire generation, I'm always thinking, is this better on PlayStation? It's probably better on PlayStation. Even if there's a chance that there's parity, there's always that thing in the back of my mind that's like, maybe this is better somewhere else. There's no chance for that anymore. And that comfort is worth it for me because I like all the other things about Xbox.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, for me, it's totally
That's so interesting because I don't I don't go into a game thinking, I wonder if this is better on Xbox. The reason why I don't play Xbox is because, to me, Microsoft doesn't have the kind of games that I like.
Well, you play third party, though. You play, that's the funny
I do
thing.
play
like,
third
you play
party.
a lot of third
and you know
party.
what? I'm more comfortable with the DualShock than I am with the Xbox controller. That is the biggest hurdle for me, especially R1 and 2. Those bumpers, I feel like the DualShock is very comfortable. It's just boop. I feel like with the Xbox, I got to come back even further, and so it's just a comfort level for me. But like, if they had more games, like exclusive games, which I think we're going to see a huge resurgence in Microsoft first-party games, especially now that the X is out. Wait till this next E3. I think we're going to see some stuff that nobody predicted before, and hopefully it's good. It's good new IPs. Like I want some good stuff. Give me like a Last of Us-esque kind of an IP for exclusively for Xbox, and I am all over.
Yeah, they're not even close to anything like that. You know what I was just saying? I was playing PUBG just before we came on. I want a battle royale mode on Halo or something like that. Like there's nothing really like. By the time this airs, I will have played PUBG a little bit more, but there's nothing really like that unique about it, other than the fact that it's 100 people like dropping on this island.
But it's the thrill. Isn't that the thrill and the challenge? Is, hey, I want to get as
But I could
far
do that
I
could do that in a different game. Like if they put that mode in Gears of War, that's got to be great. That has to be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
So I'm looking forward to Sea of Thieves in 2018. I should be able to get a chance to try out a bit of that beta. And I'm just kind of getting into this stuff of let's hop on some multiplayer. Hopefully I know somebody in a time zone that lines up with my gaming time, because Lord knows that it's between it's now. Like this is pretty much it in the evenings.
This is your prime time.
So yeah, man, I'm pumped. I can't wait to see what 2018 has in store. I don't know if you had a chance to really like think about Game of the Year for 2017, but like the list goes on and on and on. I won't put you on the spot for it, but
no, there's some good ones, and that's kind of the reason why I said this on the podcast too. Like I wanted to get into Assassin's Creed at least in this year, because every year when there's an Assassin's Creed, I'm playing it, and it's usually one of my Game of the Years. Like Black Flag was definitely after the bitter taste of 3. Black Flag, they totally redeemed themselves.
I got to go back and play it.
Oh my god!
I haven't tried it. It's been sitting on my Xbox for years and years, and every time I kind of hover over, I'm like, because I got to manage my hard drive. So, am I going to delete that? No, I'll for sure come back to that one.
Do not delete that. Please play that game. So my Game of the Years, I think I haven't figured them. I'll just tell you like the ones that I don't have them in any particular order. Shadow of War is up there for me.
I'm with you, man. It was so much fun.
That might make Game of the Year for me. I did love Lost Legacy. I thought that was great.
I thought it was okay.
It was okay, right? Like it's not. All right. I liked the voice acting was great. I loved the banter between the girls. I love that it's female protagonists this time too. That was great. But it's a lot of the same thing. It was a lot of the same Uncharted stuff. So I wasn't expecting anything.
For me,
anything
it was the
great.
Villain. I think I didn't really love, like, especially after 4. I thought 4 was like the villain in 4, like Rafe was his name. He was so strong and just so like complex, and it seemed like he was going to be a very cliche type of villain. But then it's like, no, man, there's a lot to him, and especially
he's
after
kind
the
of like a
first
James
3.
Bond villain.
Yeah, but the Daniel Craig, like where he's got character to him. He's not just a caricature of a villain, which is like the Sean Connery days. But anyway, that's a whole other. Speaking about traditions, we used to do on New Year's Eve, we used to try and see how far into the James Bond series we could get. We like one after another at my parents' house. And dude, it was like you started Dr. No, like, and beautiful. That's it.
That's as far as it goes.
Because back in those days, like, you could get at the mom and grop video shop, you get like this roll of coupons. You get like 20 coupons for $20, and each coupons are good for a rental. And yeah, you'd get like 10 James Bond movies. You work through as far as you could, but yeah, you didn't get very far.
That is awesome.
But
shoot, man, I can't even remember some of the games. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn will definitely be up there. That was a fantastic game. Shadow of War. I'm not putting Lost Legacy in it's probably a top 5, but it's not a top 3 for me. I do love everything Naughty Dog puts out. I am a Naughty Dog fanboy because I think what they do is you can tell it's a Naughty Dog game the minute you put it in. I think the smoothness of it, the animation, everything about what they do, and I think they pride themselves on story and voice acting because that's everything.
And that's the thing. I feel like whatever they're doing, if it's The Last of Us, it's the next finished product that they put out for us. Where it's just gonna, like, they're gonna take it up just to another level, and I can't wait to see what that is. The expectations couldn't be higher. And as a fan of the Mass Effect and Dragon Age games, like BioWare is, it's a hometown source of pride for me.
Absolutely.
And when Andromeda came out, I was just so disappointed. And I
was just going to ask you what you thought of it because I loved 2 and 3. Yeah. I thought 2 and 3 were awesome. It's not that great, huh?
No, and I remember thinking at the beginning of the year, going, I can't believe this is the year we get a Mass Effect game. Like, how lucky are we? And it's so forgettable. Right. I mean, it's memorable for all the wrong reasons, but I hope against hope that that's not what happens with Naughty Dog because I know that their pedigree is like top notch, but it's not the name of the logo that makes the quality, it's the people. So hopefully those guys are taking care of themselves and everything's okay.
There's been a lot of shifting with people leaving and that kind of stuff, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing. What did you think of all the controversy in air quotes about the brutalness of that second reveal?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
No,
I thought it was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's exactly what it was supposed to be. And I was like, I mean, it's like, okay, what do we got going on here? Like, they're cutting people open. Like, why? Like, I'm trying to figure out the why. Is this a cult? Is this, what is this? And all this other stuff. And then, once things start getting heated up. But man, as soon as I heard that clicker in the far off, I'm like, this is Last of Us 2. This is I was so excited.
I was disappointed. I unfortunately had to watch it a little later, so I knew that through Twitter that they had closed the show with The Last of Us, so I knew like immediately. So I didn't have quite that moment that everybody else did. Which
I didn't during the very first reveal. I watched it through our YouTube channel, and then I watched it like 30 or 40 times after that, and I was like every time that Firefly logo on that stop sign comes up, I still get chills. I'm like, yes.
The best is that first time that you see it, and you're like, is that Firefly? Is that no? Like, there's no way.
As soon as I saw it, I went like this. I was like, yes! I was so excited, and I did the same thing when I heard the clicker in this past one. When I heard that clicker, I thought it was Days Gone at the start, or I thought it was something else. But I'm like, this looks Naughty Dog-esque, but who the heck are these characters? And I have no idea. And then when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, now they've just opened a huge story can of worms, basically. So I need to know everything about it. But I don't want to, the panels are great. That's awesome for everybody. I don't want to know anything about this game until it comes out now.
I'm on media. I'm doing the exact same thing for Star Wars, which at the time of this recording is coming out on Friday. I've got my tickets. I haven't heard a thing. I saw something on my Twitter today that I'm like, I thought I had everything muted, and I realized I left out, I think, Jedi out of my mute. Like, there's all these different combinations of words that you can mute. So I finally, I think, got the last thing on mute. There's nothing coming up about stars or wars or Jedis or lasts anything.
So we can talk about it now?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have tickets. I have no tickets yet because typically what happens is Ribo puts a Christmas party together and they buy out a showtime for Star Wars.
That's incredible.
Because they're huge Star Wars nerds. They're all geeks over there, which is great. A lot of them play video games, and they're just all geeks. So, I was invited when they did Rogue One, and we all saw Rogue One.
What did you think of that?
I loved it.
Did you? Okay, that's good. I'm happy for you. I'm happy you loved Rogue One.
You didn't like it?
I didn't love it. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I think Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, he was weird.
Character, kind of a clown.
But that's kind of the way I feel about Forrest Whitaker anyway. Yeah, he plays these little abstract dudes, and that's all fine and good. I thought everything else was great. I loved how everything tied in. I thought it was really great.
I want to go back and watch it, though, because I just saw it in the theater, so it's been a year, actually, since I seen it.
Yeah, go back and see it, because I watched it again. It's on Netflix now, and I watched it with Piper, and she loved it. She was engaged with it, and so we're all going to go. It's just a question of when. It's going to end up being like, the problem is I don't know when I'm going to be able to.
You got to avoid spoilers, Tim. I'm worried for you. That's why you got to go. No, I'm not. Okay.
No, I'm not.
I can panic for you.
No, I'm not going to panic because I'm not going to.
I feel like such a basket case because you're just so chill about everything, and I'm worried about God knows what.
No, man. It's like if I can handle like Walking Dead spoilers when I used to actually watch it, like I was at least a season or two behind, and I totally was fine. Like I'm not worried about it. Like there's a lot going to go on in this one. I'm super excited. I'm loving the fact that with no spoilers that everybody loves it. The reviews are coming in really, really positive, which is exactly what I want. The thing that I did not want is to have like that moment where, okay, now they're just, hang on. Sorry, I had a connection issue there.
No, we're good.
It was reconnecting. The thing that I don't want is like, oh, okay, now we're seeing the kind of the decline of the quality in Star Wars.
Right.
We already got that with episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think that's all in the past. I think everybody's learned from those mistakes because Attack of the Clones was on the other day, and I'm like, this is
it's real bad.
I shut it off. I'm like, why am I even watching this? This is horrible.
I'm wondering. So we should all go back to like that time period and go like, were there any good movies? Like, was that like, were we just in a real bad funk? Maybe I don't know what the answer to that is, Tim. But
the answer is George Lucas is trying to do too much, and I'm thrilled that he got bought out, and I'm thrilled that Disney purchased it. I think that was a good move because George Lucas has never been a great storyteller, nor has he like. I'm gonna say it,
Tim. I was gonna let this little glitch in Skype be the sign for like the end of the show, but I'm glad we're getting this little hot take at the end here.
Maybe it's not the storytelling, and maybe it's just in the screenplay. But I just don't think he's a good writer. Think I don't know what it is, but there's something
You're
about like
on this one, man. I'm just gonna step. Yeah, you go.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll bury myself in this. I think his concept is great, and then he's just adding and adding and adding to it. But at some point, 1, 2, and 3 clearly showed that I think he was trying to do too much. There's too much CG. There's too much of this. Like when you start talking about metachlorians or whatever the heck that was that they were talking about with that,
I still don't know.
I still don't know what it is, and I don't care. And I'm like, George, what are you doing, dude? So I'm thrilled. Georgie. And I love that J.J. Abrams basically took 7 as a duplicate of 4. Because, honestly, this is the next generation Star Wars.
Here's how oblivious I am in these movies, Tim. I didn't even realize how carbon copy it was as I was watching it. Like, it wasn't until after, and I didn't care either. I was having a great time.
And a lot of people were like, oh, it's a carbon copy. And you know what I say to that? I said, exactly. That is exactly what the franchise needs, because the kids that are growing up with 7 was us with 4 back in the day. And so it's a whole new generation. So now Star Wars has crossed generations. And it is a huge, there is no generation gap right now in Star Wars.
Isn't that crazy?
And there won't be as long as they keep pumping them out.
Well,
I'm a little worried about the Han Solo one because that's been a roller coaster and sounds like a disaster. So that might be the stinker in between all of this, but I think the actual episode 7, 8, 9s are going to be phenomenal. So I can't wait for this. I just hope I can see it soon.
Let's go. Tim, that's actually, why don't we go ahead and call it there? Why don't you tell everybody, as if they don't already know, where can they find you on Twitter and all the things that you're doing with Married to the Games and whatnot?
Yeah, man. I have a Twitter account, but I just run everything through Married to the Games. So MTTGcast is where you'll find me. I'm I like looking on Facebook and Instagram, but I don't post. Like, I feel like my life is boring. Who wants to see what I'm doing today? So I don't. It's so funny. Like, even on Discord, like I don't you notice that I don't participate.
I was the same. You're like, how's next week? And I'm like, that was on Friday. I'm contacting you back on Monday. You're like, whoops.
And that's when I said, just text me. It's so much easier. So, but marriedtothegames.com. We're on, we have all of our YouTube channels as well, Married to the Games, Facebook. We record tomorrow morning, 274 weeks straight. We have not missed a week at all, and it has been so much fun. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do our Christmas video one. So that might have to be sometime next week, I hope. But man, it's just so much fun. Regardless, like, I love that every week we just all get together. And we'll talk on Google Hangouts throughout the week, but not as much. And then we just all get together and then we talk about games.
That's the best.
It's such a part of me now. Like, And it's not one of those, I got to do the podcast. It's like, all right, let's figure out what time are we doing it? Let's do it. And it's just so much fun. So I got to get up in 6 hours just to do all this all over again. And I'm totally fine with that.
Oh, well, thank you. No problem. Thank you for being so gracious with your time. And for anybody who hasn't already checked out Married to the Games at Christmas time, it is the best. If you haven't already been listening to the episodes in December, everything about it, there's what bad Christmas movies you should be listening to, as read by Gabe. And it's just, there are a few podcasts. This is why I wanted to have you guys on in December. There are a few podcasts that make me just enhance my love for Christmas as much as Married to the Games has and continues to do. I also feel like I could drop in Gabe's you know where to find us, and then that whole thing. We could do that right here too. I'll just steal one of those from one of your MP3s. Tim, thank you so much, man. This was so much fun.
Sean, so good to catch up with you and from one dad to another. It's amazing now, and it's great to see how you guys have grown up, and I look forward to doing
the
it some more,
bags
man.
As you guys, right? Like the bags under the eyes.
Exactly, man. Yeah, just sleep is. I'll sleep when I'm dead. At this point, that's pretty much how it goes.
Or on a random Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Exactly.
Just crash at my desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Just get some sleep when you can, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Tim. I needed a little positivity in my life. I don't know about you guys, but Christmas can get a little crazy, a little hectic. For those who are following me on Twitter, this week has been a little rough. I don't want to bring this show down. We're going to get into it in 2018. I think we'll have a bit of a reflection. I think some real talk is coming back to the show, but I wanted this one to be still a shot of positivity. I wanted this to be a good time. And also it's Christmas, so I wanted to hype up a little bit about Christmas. So for those of you who have been following me on Twitter, hear this and go like, what's the deal? This is a concerted effort to just sort of compartmentalize a little bit. I had another show scheduled last night to record for you. The second returning guest was scheduled. I unfortunately canceled on him with like 15 minutes before we were supposed to go. I feel awful about it. I'm working things out. I will try to make sure we can get that second episode hopefully by the end of the year. I know this is a crazy time, so I apologize for canceling the recording. I apologize to you guys for not having that set up just yet, but I'm still working on it. Feeling better than ever this morning, so please enjoy this episode. Look forward to more in the future. And yeah, remember, you guys can reach Married to the Games. They're on Twitter at MTTGcast. One of the most engaging podcasts out there in terms of the community. Everybody in the community is incredible, so if you aren't already a part of it, please join up. It's just an incredible, it's a huge reason I'm doing this show is engaging with everybody over there. And like I said at the beginning of the show, that Discord is happening. Whatever you're into, there is a channel in there for you to get involved with, and for only $1 a month, you got to support those guys. They're top tier. That podcast, incredible. The music, remember, was the theme song for December, Super Mario's Sleigh Ride from ocremix.org. And the only other things I would say, guys, is thank you to our artists, Gary Gray and Adam Leonhardt, our video designer, Antonio Guillen, and that this show is powered by the Dayspace network of podcasts. You can find the Xbox Drive over there. That's a fun show that I do. I recorded that this morning, and that's just that's a good time. I don't know what I was going to say there. Otherwise, this is a special Patreon-powered episode 121 of We the GamerCast is now in your ears, maybe in your eyeballs. Thanks for listening. I'll be back next week. I think maybe we'll work it out. Now it's time for Patreon-powered Patrick Stewart at the drive-thru.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart, star of TV's Star Trek: The Next Generation, and the host of the documentary series MGM, When the Lion Roars.
Okay, that's fine, sir. Can I take your order?
Yes, you can.
And what is your order, sir?
I'll have a quarter pounder with cheese and a side order of fries.
Would you like it?
And a fillet. Oh, fish.
Would you like a cold drink with that, sir?
Yes. Yes. For the sake of the future, of all mankind, I will have a small Sprite.
Okay, sir, that's $5.20. Could you proceed to the first window?
The first window. The first portal to a new dimension. One greater, one more wondrous than our own.
No, just the first window of the drive-thru, please, sir.
Yes, then so it is that I proceed to this window of which you speak.
Thank you, sir.
Approaching warp speed.
What the f***? Mate, did you just drive into the back of me?
Yes, it is so.
Mate, are you some kind of f***ing comedian?
I am Patrick Stewart.
Mate, get out of the f***ing car.
And so, with heavy heart, I hereby withdraw from the vehicle.
Mate, look what you done to my f***ing Duco.
You accuse me.
Mate, f***ing A I do. Here's your order, sir.
What manner of burger is this? And these slivers of potato extract?
Hey, Chrome Dome, are you gonna f***ing pay for my car or not, mate? Mate!
I am under attack. I must reason with this.
Mate, you are talking out your f***ing ass.
And so it is that I bid you and your people farewell.
What a f***ing dead shit.